Let me just get all set up. Hey guys, hold on. How is everyone? All right, let me just get to my page so I can just see. Hello, happy Saturday. Okay, welcome to day 2 of our live streams. I hope that you are having a phenomenal day. My name is Rachel Feldman, and I help health coaches and wellness professionals and anyone really in the health and wellness industry to create online and offline businesses. The reason that I am different from other business coaches is I believe, and because this worked for me, and I can only teach what worked for me, I believe that we really need systems in our business to have sustainable businesses. And I'm going to explain to you what that means. What worked for me and the reason that I went from 13,000 that first year to 27 that second year. And for some people that may sound like a good amount of money, but that was not a full-time health coaching career for my family. And so what took me to that next stage of coaching was when I went out of just throwing handouts to clients and, not really having a system. The system was in my head, and I'm sure that's the case for many of you. You know what got you better. You know what you want to do with your clients, but it either isn't put into a system, right? It either isn't formatted. You know how you possibly want to take a client through a VIP day, but it isn't put together. You know what you want to do in a 4-month program or a 6-month program in your one-on-one, but it isn't put together. Or maybe you know what you want to do in a single session, but it isn't put together. And that was the case for me. So what happened is that I started having better conversions because I put my first detox together for my business, and that's the same detox that you see at www.yourhealthcoachbiz.com. And so everything that I teach for coaches when I work with them one-on-one in masterminds, everything that you see for the Done For You programs are the exact programs that I used in my one-on-one, exact programs that I coached, the exact programs that I did as do-it-yourselves, online programs, offline in gyms, spas, mommy groups at another gym. So I know the power of these programs. I did them as shopping tours. I mean, it was really endless. So I'm excited to talk about today's topic. Just give me a second because we are going to talk about how to nail down your niche and get more sales. So I'm actually going to flip around the screen today because I have one of my handy dandy worksheets. So bear with me. And if you want, just drop a comment because I can see the comments right here. Bear with me. Oops. I see we have some views and some comments, so just give me a second while I actually can put my phone hopefully on mute. Okay, here we go on our first screen share. Okay, so I want everyone, and this is just a special treat, I want everyone to take a few minutes and go through this exercise because even though this is the launch of the Done For You programs, and what we're doing with these live streams is to help you get clear on what program that you should buy. Because the one thing that I always say is I don't want you to just buy a program. I want you to buy your success. So the difference, and if you haven't watched the replay, either open up your email, which you got that replay from me, and that was a really different webinar than we've done before. We talked about the systems, which you will see on the homepage. So if you've bought programs from me before, you might not be teaching in a system, which means that you are focusing on your niche and you are taking them through a process. That means, and I'm just going to recap the sales funnel in a really simple way. The sales funnel is taking them through a process. It's almost like, anybody ever played? Please just in the comment section say yes. Yes, I played Monopoly, or yes, I played Chutes and Ladders. Whether you played it with your children or at a party. So please drop a yes, I did that. You're going through a process, in Chutes and Ladders or in Monopoly. That is the exact process of a sales funnel. It's a journey. And I talked about this on the webinar. A sales funnel is the first date to a marriage. That's all sales funnel is. So if you feel overwhelmed by this word and you think that word means that you need to be an advanced coach, no. I wish that I would have understood the power of this word when I was a new coach, because I understood the power when I was in school. It was said, build your list, build your list. I understood the power of building my list, but the failure that I made, which is why in all of our programs, we have a thank you page. We have a thank you email. And most often, we even do a follow-up email where we encourage you to have that, what I call, second date. Why? Because you don't want to sell on that first date. So you're taking them through a process. The first engagement, the first date, is them seeing your opt-in freebie and then opting in. And that's the first date is your thank you. The second date is that second email, and that even can lead, which is why in our programs, we have a webinar system. We have, other, we have tabletop events. So if you're doing an event, you can bring them and say, hey, I'm doing this event locally. Come and see me. You have different ways to reach people. This is how you use your sales funnel and different ways to coach, because some of you are better online. Some of you are more comfortable offline. Some of you, like me, do a combination of both. So a sales funnel is just taking them through a journey from an opt-in, whether that's a webinar or an event or a freebie, like an opt-in freebie, to the next opportunity. That could be a tripwire, like taking one of the programs and giving a recipe guide for $7, or like the brand new 7-day sugar cleanse with a 4-day reboot and selling that for like $5. Let me just get my calculator, because this is always mind-blowing when I do this. Say you take the 7-day sugar cleanse, which I don't know who wouldn't want to do that. And you said, for $5, come and join me for the 7-day sugar cleanse. $5, and you get 50 people. How many of you say yes in the comment, or yes, yes? If you could find somebody you think who would give you $5 to join you for 7 days in a private group. If you can get 50 people, that's $250. If you think that you could get 100 people, that's 500. If you, now I'm going to just take you through, and then we're going to get back to the niche, but I want you to see the power of a sales funnel. If you can take out of 100 people and convert them to your next program, and this is why I'm reverse engineering for a second, because I want you to understand the money part of it, because you want to make money and do what you really love doing, which is being a health coach. If you can then convert 30 people, so let's even go at 50, just to make everyone comfortable, okay? $5 times 50. We're at making 250. If you can take out of those 50 people and convert 25 to a $97 program, that's $2,425. So you made 250, 2,425. Out of those 25 people, let's say that five of them want to work with you one-on-one. So let's just say that you're charging $450. We're aiming for you to charge more. Let's just say that you're going to charge $450. That's $2,250. So that month, okay, this month, you made that plus 2, 4, 2. You think I need a little more coffee or green juice? I hope everyone's laughing. 4,925. Now everyone talks about $5,000 months. Everyone talks about $10,000 months. So if you're a coach and you're struggling, because I hear this everywhere, I see this everywhere. I'm not in a lot of forums except my own free forum. I do go into a few other forums, and I'll post when we kick off. I'll post some free tools. I try to make comments in other forums. But I see a lot of people saying, I'm not making money. Or they'll say, or I see a lot of coaches buying tons of programs, tons of courses, going and getting more certifications. And I am all about education. I love education. I'm about to enroll with Reed Davis, who is one of my favorite and owns FDN. For my knowledge. But I'm also about being really smart with my money. And my husband always says that. He's like, Rach, you've always been that way. Even when you were in commercial real estate and you were making, multiple six figures then. But I see coaches making no money. So with that platform that I just showed, that's making almost $60,000. Now, given you're not going to launch all the time, but if you took that platform and say you launched the one program, but rolled those people into a longer 3-month, which then takes you into our system of the mega program, then you can take one of those programs like Mindset Makeover or Gut or Sugar or Adrenal and lengthen it, or Revitalize and lengthen it, or combo a program. And you take them into a longer 3-month program with you, online or offline. And so you don't become a serial launcher. You launch 4 gateway programs or 3 gateway programs a year into longer, and that starts to really map out. So instead of just shooting darts, you have opt-in freebies and tripwires that are your shooting darts, so to speak. Strategically bringing, of course, them into your smaller or your workshops or your cooking classes that are your smaller things that keep you sustainable and profitable, and then bringing them into, your money makers that can keep you alive into the group. So I just want to, if you're coming in just now, again, my name is Rachel Feldman, and we're talking about how to, really nail down your niche to get more sales. But we just mapped out in the back of my Victoria's Secret envelope in a matter of what, guys? We did that in 8 minutes, how to make 60,000. And we did it in a very simple way. This doesn't need to be complicated. And this is what I try to, teach coaches, that I don't just want to sell done for you programs to you guys. That's not why I created the done for you programs. I created it to lessen the overwhelm so that you could work strategically, to lessen the overwhelm so that you had programs in your one-on-one, in your offline, in your online, so that you could feel comfortable in the way that I did, going in and speaking to doctors and spas and gyms, and walk into a CrossFit and be like, hey, I've got a grain-free program, so that you could do all of that. Okay, so does everyone feel really confident and good about that? Okay, so if you do, now let's get into why you need to nail down your niche. And that is the exact reason that we took a lot of time this season. I call it the SS, strategic systems. Everything this season, and that's why we did reconstruct, and that's why you're looking at, if you're coming back, looking at a different homepage. You're looking at a very different way that we are mapping out the process. That's why you also see a different course. You see the niche course, and you also see Launch School right there. And that is a process that I see coaches need to have. They need to know how to launch their business. And it's not just about Instagram. I say this, my good friend Ryan Lee, who I interviewed, if you go to rachelfeldman.com, you'll see him in the interview series. I interviewed him, and he actually just sent out an email the other day, and he's like, why are entrepreneurs focusing on stuff they shouldn't be focusing on? I'm not saying not to build Instagram, but sometimes we come out and we're focusing on the wrong things. If you have 40 people on your list and you're focusing for 4 months building a podcast, and I'm not saying that a podcast isn't going to build your list, but imagine if you took the time to go on a live stream, or go ask somewhere, if you could even do an event and face-to-face with people and get people to sign up and say, here, if you sign up for this, I'm going to give you this really great guide. Or, you'll get a free session with me and I'm going to give you this guide. So really think about where you're spending your time, because it's not to say you shouldn't be focusing on your brand and your message, but everything comes down to your niche. Your brand is your core values. Your brand is your niche. Your brand is your story. Your brand is what you went through. So when people say, what is my niche? I want you to think first about, what did you go through? What happened to you? I want you to think about your target market. So is it digestion? Is it weight loss? Is it hormones? Is it mindset? Then I want you to ask yourself, why are you focusing on this core target market? What are the key issues that they are struggling with? And this isn't just your ideal client, because if you missed the webinar the other day, you will know that I talked about 3 personalities. There are thousands of ideal clients, because within that ideal client, that avatar, and I do believe that that word is dated. It's not that I'm saying throw out the baby in the bathwater, but we are really in a new era. There are so many different types of personalities within a niche. You have an A-type, which is why they have the Myers-Briggs. I mean, that should almost be at the forefront of your mind all the time, because you have the person who is, the person who says, I'm just going to buy your top package. I need everything. Then there's the person who questions everything. Then there's the person who needs a follow-up strategy session. Then there's the person who's hesitant to work with you. Then there's the person who, knows that they need to coach with you, but is scared. So everyone has a different personality type, even if they are your ideal client. So you really need to step into psychology. So think about your ideal client. You have their pain point, but don't just think about up here. Don't just think, I want great skin. Think about, let's just take detox, for example. So let me see if I can just, hold on. Let me see if I can see a comment. Take detox, for example. So let me see if I can just, hold on. Let me see if I can see a comment. Take detox, for example. So, okay, I just had to mute myself. Okay. So, hey, Kai. Hi, Laura. Okay, great. So let's take a niche that is, of course, the niche that I had, started with. It was digestion, allergies, it was autoimmune. Well, those are multiple niches. And where do those niches come from? They came from my story. So when coaches say to me, I don't know my niche, that is why I became a niche coach. So if you're a new coach and you're listening to this, or maybe you've been a coach and you graduated 4 years ago, but you've been out of the game, or maybe you are so confused about your niche, or maybe you are struggling, like many, to get people to understand what you actually do or to get people to hire you. So let's just go through this exercise, and I'm going to stop sharing for a second so we can really deep dive into this. Do you understand the power of nailing down your niche and your sub-niche to truly get more sales? So number one, when I first came into this business, I thought that you just needed to have one niche. That is so not true. So not true. A niche is the group of people that you serve. And there can be many, because think of your journey and think of your experiences. They're vast, they're grand. And as you change, your niche changes. When I first started out, my niche was food intolerances and allergies, and I was going through a lot of early intervention with my children because there was autoimmune stuff and there was gut stuff and there's, some spectrum stuff in my family, hence my dyslexia. And so we were doing a lot of early intervention, and guess what? Who did I attract? I worked with a lot of families with kids with autism and spectrum-related issues and food allergies, because that was what I was doing and going through. And ironically, and I don't talk about this often, but I want you to know what my coaching journey was like, is that I didn't market that anywhere at all. But that is how the universe truly shows up, is that if we really are in alignment, and this is why I'm so grateful that I get to interview Danielle Laporte, is that she talks so much about being in alignment with our business. And this is why I truly believe that if we are scared to talk about our own life, and it doesn't mean that you need to share about your business like I do, but if we're scared to speak about our own life, how can we be a health coach? Because a health coach talks about, and it says when I'm a holistic entrepreneur, there is no separation from my life, my business, spirituality. It's one. Because we're asking our client to show up in full authentic way, so we have to as well. So when I first started out coaching, that was what I thought my niche was. Really, my niche at the top of it was autoimmune. That sub-niche underneath was digestion. Another sub-niche was, candida and all the other stuff that comes from having the core top issue, which was autoimmune. It doesn't mean that you can't have multiple niches, and what comes from that? Multiple messages. So if you're suffering right now in your business, I'm going to take a deep breath, and I want you to, because this is going to be mind-blowing. It is not you. It is your message. And it is the lack of understanding how to speak to the people who you are serving. It is also not understanding what their true pain point. Because here is how we think, but this is actually how we truly think. Because it is our heart that speaks to our mind. So that wake up pain point and the problem when we have a client who is overweight is not here. it's here. So if a client is struggling with weight, they're not going, oh my God, I might die of being overweight. That's what a doctor says to them, or their loved one, or, but the message is really, oh my God, one day I might not be here for my children. That is the message that comes from their heart. And really in their heart, if it's a woman, because I'm a woman, I can only speak for a woman, it's that she looks in the mirror and she says, I hate myself because I don't like how I look. And then she's sitting at her desk at work and she says, I don't even want to get out. I don't even want to stand up because I'm embarrassed of what I look like. It's not, I want to feel free and I want to glow and I want to, I want to stand up and I want to, have less baggy jeans. It's not that. That's what that's what marketing says. But the real pain is that in the heart. So when you think about messaging and knowing your niche is really about sales. When people say to me, oh wow, did you go to business school? Or, and I did take copywriting courses. Ashley Amberg was one of the first do-it-yourself copywriting course. She's actually a Philly girl. But she was one of the first games in town who did a copywriting course, and she's still phenomenal. And I took it many years ago, and it's not that light bulbs went off at that time, but what she talked about was really just listen to people. And even though, I went to school for psychology, I was a good listener always. I know nobody thinks that because I talk a lot, but I've always been a great listener. Maybe sometimes so much that I remember so much. But that's all sales is it's thinking about what you would want to hear if you were feeling that pain. And, when I used to come home from a doctor's, and this happened way too often, and I would get a diagnosis, you have, we think maybe you have lupus or you have ulcerative colitis, you have liver damage, it was endless. You're not going to have babies. We think you have a pituitary tumor. It was endless, and it was just one after another from every different hospital and doctors, and it was a really scary time. And I would just come home crying, and just, I would be in my bathroom crying. And so, I always go back to that, especially in the beginning of my coaching. And I just would sit there and say, and that was what I would do at a health history. What would somebody want to hear? Well, they don't want to hear, do this, here is this protocol, because that was what was given to me. And they never worked. They gave a little bit, but it wasn't the whole picture, which is why when I hear this, do this, do this one thing, it doesn't work. Nothing works in the world completely, because if that was the truth, there would be no sickness. So that's why I don't abide to any one protocol, and I don't abide to any one way of eating. I don't think that functional medicine or just homeopathy or Chinese herbs are this one fix. I believe that it takes a blend of everything. I don't think that detoxing is just the answer, but I think that a combination of all the above intertwined in an intuitive way is the answer. And that is our job. And that's why when we have a system that we believe in and that we feel can take our clients through cleansing out the fog and the junk, because there's so much environmental toxins, even more now, because we know what has happened with the EPA. And then the body goes, oh, whew, I have less funk up here, so my brain is actually working. So now my body can actually see, do grains work with me and do beans? And then I can actually test, on my body with working with my health coach. Do I need to soak everything because is the phytic acid messing me up? Instead of just going in and saying, oh, it's just the thyroid. It's just this. Because we do that. And so we know that's just a Band-Aid. So getting back to why do I think that it's so important to have a system for success, and that's why I would always say to people, we're going to go through this system. We're going to cleanse. Then we're going to see what comes up. Do we need to go grain-free? Do we need to work on gut? Do we need to, because people will come to me and say, my hormones are a mess, and I would say very clearly, I do not focus on hormones. I'm not a hormone specialist. I am not a cancer specialist. I work very specifically cleansing first. I work on gut, and I work in collaboration with a lot of people who are specialists in those areas. Because I also learned very early on, and please, drop a, oh my goodness, in the comments if you agree, is that, and I've talked I talked with my own doctor in the last year, especially 2 years, 3, 4, since I've been seeing this. I've talked with, people at Hippocrates where I teach, FDN where I teach, which is Reed Davis's school, my own acupuncturists here, a few of them. We're facing now where cancer, diabetes, and autoimmune is just standard. Kids now are on Ritalin at the age of very young. My cousin Patty Lemmer, Patty Spear, owns. She's actually going to be coming out with a course. I'm very excited to be supporting her and her mission. She's had a developmental delay organization for over 30 years when nobody was talking about it. So I have been awakened and open-minded to this, the level of toxicity. And the favorite line that we always say is, genes load the gun and environment is pulling the trigger. So what is pulling your trigger? And it's just how toxic is your trash can. So genes load the gun and environment pulls the trigger. And it just depends. When you were born, how full was your trash can and how full is it now? And so you really have to think of that in that sense. The reason that I go as natural as possible in anything that I do is my gene mutations are crappy. And we do that because we know our genetics. We did nutrigenomics many years ago, and it was overwhelming to see, wow. Many talk about the MTFR gene, but that is just a minute piece of the puzzle. My family has far more A1298C. I mean, the list can go on. So getting back to the round back is that I realized early on in my practice that people were coming to me with far more than, I have stress. And I do believe 100% it always comes back to mindset. It always comes back. But let's be honest here for many, many moments, is that people have a myriad of health problems and genetic issues that are facing us, and we need to come together with systems that do not get us into liability zone. That's one. Systems that also can take our clients through eating systems where they become self-aware. What I think is the beauty of what I've gone through as just a coach on my own journey and a person who was trying to get well for herself is that I have tried everything for myself, from being macrobiotic for many years. Grew up in Philly. There was a beautiful place called A Scene, which is still there. So I was macrobiotic. Pregnant with Max. I was raw. I was vegan. I've been ketogenic, and I still do ketogenic. That helps me a lot with my sugars. I was helped by my chiropractor, one of them who found out he was diabetic when he was, 15. And actually his family, which his mom is my main acupuncturist, they actually moved here from Canada because there was such a change in him when he went to Hippocrates many, many years ago. He's my age. So, I tried to be fruitarian, didn't work so great for me, just biochemically. But that ATP in the fruit is why you feel so great. I've done everything. I wouldn't say everything out there, but I would say that, now, and I've done Weston Price, Terry Walls, many people out there. I think at the end of the day, for me, it's about eating intuitively, cleansing with the seasons, making sure always, per my love and Louise Gittleman, that you've got to keep that liver and that gallbladder happy. I don't know who doesn't talk this game, from Alejandro Younger to Metabolic Mike, if you follow him, to Terry Walls, Ann Louise Gittleman, Mark Hyman, JJ Virgin. I mean, the list goes on. So now let's talk about niche, when we went off on that little rant of why I think it is so vital. To me, these programs aren't just about, hey, buy a program. This, to me, and I say this really seriously, it almost makes me a little teary, is about saving lives. Like, the clients that I saw who would find me because, I talk about this is, I built my business, and the reason I got on EO Fire with John Lee Dumas is because I told him my story. I built my business with zero money in my pocket. I used the power of YouTube. That is going to be part of the mastermind that I will be launching this fall, like how to really use YouTube to build your business, because people found me worldwide. I had clients in Dubai, I had clients in Japan, I had clients who would find me even in the US, and these clients were sick. I mean, clients who would contact me and be like, the only reason I'm not going to kill myself is because of my grandchildren, because they were that sick. And they had stories like I did. So I used to say to my husband, like, where are all these people, like I see other health coaches saying, who are helping people just add goji berries and superfoods, because that's not who I see. I'm telling you all of this because for most of you, for the coaches that I know, you are like me. You have a significant child, other, loved one, or yourself who is either sick or was sick, or you're in your own journey. And this is not just about like, oh, this is, cool. And I'm not saying that if you're a health coach and you want to help somebody to eat clean, that's not enough, because anyone who is on this journey, you are here. And right now, I mean, my health insurance got canceled 3 times and it has gone up and triple. So we are in a really vital and important time for you to be a health coach. Like, this is not just about posting a smoothie bowl on Instagram. I want you to know that. This is not just about sitting behind a website and feeling fear. This is about taking this very seriously. And, I used to have to say to myself on a daily basis, because I was just saying to my husband the other day, I was like, wow, in that beginning time, I was scared. I didn't know how to build a business. I built my real estate practice, fast, and I made 6 figures, and then I made over 6 figures. But I had a mentor, and I paid my dues, and I got a mentor in the beginning, and I worked for nothing for a woman who was one of the top commercial real estate brokers in the city, who was over 75 years old, and she was a baller. And she used to kick my butt if I was late, even to doing free work for her. But I knew what it was going to take for me to learn what I needed to learn in commercial real estate. There was no ifs, ands, or buts. I was going to do it. And I even said to her, I will do anything for you. And I remember showing up late, and she said to me, if you ever show up late, I will fire you. And I will also tell people in this city that you showed up late for me. And your word is everything. And if you do that ever in business, you will never make it. I will never forget her saying that to me. Because the people who mentored me imprinted my life. And I had excuses, just like we all do. We all make up, we all live in that story. There is no excuse. And I was scared in the beginning of my business because I was and still am the sole provider for my family. So when I felt the fear, I faced it. I cried. It was okay. And I'm sure, just like anybody. And that's why, my mission with anybody watching this, wherever you're watching this, is to always be honest. One of my favorite people, and she's not a health coach, she's an entrepreneur. Her name is Jen Scalia. I interviewed her as well. And I reached out to her on Facebook the other day, and I said, I just want to tell you that there's not many people who I follow on Facebook and completely, massively love and adore. And you're one of them because you share your ups, you share your downs, you share the hard times, you share the wins, you share the days you look fabulous, you share the day, she always looks fabulous, but the days without makeup, the days, and she wrote back and she was like, thank you so much. She said, because it's not always easy to share those days. And I share that with you because it can look so easy on Facebook and we can get so lost in those fears of how do we do this? But I want to share always with you what it took to walk in and have that fear of like, oh my God, should I walk into this health food store and walk in and see like designer frickin', cards. And I had like these Bobo cards that I had made that looked like crap. And you know how much it took to just post and put that up anyway? It took, I know it's so crazy that I'm crying about this, but it took so much to put that up because my why, and given my why is my family, but my why went back to why I became a health coach. And the why I became a health coach goes back to that story that I told you about of feeling so disempowered every time that somebody was like, here, just do this. Here, just do that. And I still today, when I talk to a client doing a health history, I would say to them, there's not a perfect plan. There is not a perfect plan for anybody, which is why I still to this day tell you guys when you buy a program from me, you're going to have to personalize everything for anybody that you work with unless you're doing a group program. And the reason why somebody will want to hire you one-on-one, which is why when I just map this out on the back of my Victoria's Secret envelope, that's the upsell. That is the whole power of the sales funnel, guys, is that I just said to you, somebody is going to want to work with you because that's the power of personalization. We don't get better from a book. I've seen books out there. I'm sorry. I've done even protocols from books. They don't work. That is a standard, common protocol. And I use the word protocol because from a book, if you're trying to get better from a book, that's common. It's standard. This is the intuitive power of self. And if we are not stepping into intuition, which is why we teach ourselves and our clients that these days, then we will be a very sick world. This is why I'm hoping, and I pray on a daily basis that we are stepping into this and we stop feeding into fear. So why do we have to know our niche? And we talked about this earlier, is that if we don't know our niche and what they need here, and we don't speak about the system that either got us better or that we start to test through our opt-in freebies, then we really don't know what people need. Or if we don't, this is a big one, guys, so hold on, brace yourself, buckle the seatbelt. If we don't, and I used to post this, so write this down, and I want you to post this on the front, wherever your computer is or wherever you need to see this. If you don't post this up and say, get over yourself. Every time I had a fear, because I was like, I don't know how to do a Periscope. I don't know how to do a live stream. I'm going to screw it up. Every time I hear someone say that, well, of course you're going to. She was my first coach. My first coach, Cora Poage. I remember saying to her, because I told you, my mass addiction is perfectionism. And I had to get over it. I had to get over that addiction. I'm almost tempted to just get like a tattoo here that just says, screw perfectionism. I think that word should be dead in the world. It should not even be in the dictionary. Because, when we hold on to, it needs to be perfect. We either don't launch our business or we don't show up. And, you're not hurting yourself. You are depriving the person who truly needs you. And that person is suffering. So when I got my first, second, third, 200th, 400th, whatever, client, and I realized how much pain that person was in, all I had to do was think of her, him, myself, their child. And I was like, oh my God, just get over yourself. This isn't about you. This isn't about you, Rachel. So when I sit there and would compare myself to the person that had the $5,000 gorgeous website and mine was, shitty, I was like, get over yourself. This isn't about you. So if you're sitting there and you're like, I can't do a webinar, I can't show up on live stream, I can't shoot a video, I'm too scared, get over yourself. And I'm saying that with complete love. And I'm saying that because I had to do that for myself, and I had to get over the fact that my first teleclass, and I cried, I had 2 people. I know. And when I interviewed my second coach, who was Nisha Moodley, and we laughed about this, she was like, oh my God, yeah, my first workshop was a total flop and all my papers fell down and I had a panic attack. We all do this, which is why a summit that I'm going to do is about the health coach success, but the health coach bloopers that we all have. Because you guys only see the wins because that's what you're fed. You're fed that because it's great marketing, but it doesn't feed your soul. And it doesn't feed what you really need to hear. And that is why I show up every day on Facebook and show you both. Because you need to know both. You can't just hear like, there was this, X amount of money that I made. You need to hear both. But you also need to hear that you need to rise up and do what you need to do to then get to this other place. So let's wrap up the next part. Is that if you are looking at the systems that we have, and that is on the homepage, you have to scroll down to the systems. What you need to really know about those systems is that's why we mapped out. If you're focusing on mindset, and I keep saying this, you need to go in through the back door. We are in a driven result world. That means that people need to hear, what is the result that I'm getting? What is the result that I'm getting? They don't want to be like, oh, wow, so I'm going to work with you and I'm going to focus. And some people are, don't get me wrong, half and half. I'm not making a generalized statement on the world. But in the beginning, most people are not ready to work on that deeper, really tough, scary stuff. So if someone's like, oh, wow, I have to work on this really hard stuff that's going to be, I'm going to cry and it's going to be hard. I'm going to have to like rip out, some childhood stuff that I've been holding on to in these old stories. But if you say, we are going to tackle these mindset issues that are keeping this weight on. And what I'm going to take you through is a detox of the mind and body. Then we're going to eliminate sugar that is keeping you from, having amazing mindset in this. And then we are going to end it with my signature mindset program. That's mindset. If you're working on hormones, which is why you see the systems that we put out, you can start with, yes, we're going to detox your body. Then we're going to go grain free. And then we're going to end with our gut program. And this is a signature program that I've put together, which lays out a step-by-step process. See, what you just heard me do is that's a strategy session. Or that's even you at a cocktail party and someone's like, what are you doing? You're like, I'm a health coach. Then you're quiet. And they're like, oh, wait, what's that? And you say, well, so I work with people who have hormone imbalances. Pretty much everyone, that I know who is between the ages of 30 and up. I've developed this 6-step process, which helps women to combat those nasty periods, not deal with perimenopause, not have hot flashes, feel great, not have nasty sleep, and have wonderful skin. Are you ready? I think I'd sign up for that. But I actually know all those things because I have a reprogram. So you want to develop something that is appealing for people and also doesn't feel dogmatic, where you're like, I work with people who have, I'm not dissing the niche pitch, because we all need to know how to say something in a very simple way. For IG, for Mind Body Green Profile, we know that we need this niche message pitch, and also our bio for a summit. And when we're talking on a podcast, we need that. We need those little key things. But if you're in conversation, you need to be able to end in strategy sessions and at the PTA and at the playground and at the gym. Oh, yeah, what do you do? Oh, yeah, so I work with people who've got blood sugar imbalances. I developed this program. Yeah, it's really cool. No, I used to do it. Do you have them? Oh, yeah, no, I have this. You need to be like, you need right away to say, yeah, so I've got this sugar program and I start people on a ketogenic. Yeah, no, and I also help people to detox their body. Are you struggling with that? Oh, your whole family? Yeah. Oh my God, well, here's my number. You want me to just plug it right in my phone? That's actually what I do. I actually had 5 people at the gym say to me, and actually this guy I'm hiring at the gym say to me, do you want to do something with me at the gym? And I was like, yeah, we could totally do that. He's like, you know so much. That is the power of the programs. You don't need to be an expert in every area because you have educational programs, but you need a freaking system, because then your conversions and your sales, and then what happens, which I talked about, your social media matches, the story matches, your opt-in freebies, your PowerPoints, the whole system matches. And then you convert. And then you sell higher ticket packages and your VIP days. And everything starts to work. And then you could have a do-it-yourself that is kind of a signature do-it-yourself that keeps there. Or 2 products on a shop. And then you have your one-on-one. And then maybe 3 times a year or 2 times a year you launch. And then you lead them into a 3-month group coaching. And then maybe you run a few tripwires or specials, but you map out your year. This is what I talk about in Launch School. You map out your year. And if you really don't know your niche, that's why I have that niche course. I mean, there is no reason that anyone doesn't have a really solid business that is mapped out, that is clear, and that is strategically put together all around the niche. Does this make sense to everyone? I'm looking at the comments. Okay. So we are here now for 12 more days. Please, if you are not opening your email, which I get it because I don't open a lot, you have VIP coupon codes. I don't want to be one of those crazy emailers where then you unsubscribe. I get it. Because once you opt out, you're not going to get another email from me. But please check your email. The replay went out. If you are like, what is she talking about with that replay? Just tag under here or email me or personal message. You know, if you don't know what program you need or you want to know about the essential oil course and email funnel system that came out, or you want to know about the new programs or the opt-in freebies, you know, please email. If you're having trouble buying, trouble logging in, all that stuff, please email. And we look forward to supporting you guys. Just awesome stuff. Awesome, awesome, awesome to be with you. And that is about it. My name is Rachel Feldman. You can find all of this that we talked about and more at www.yourhealthcoachbiz.com, and also My Happy Home, where is all about my coaching and free tools, and all of that is at www.rachelafeldman.com. All right, guys, have an unbelievable one. I will see you tomorrow, and that is on my business page, which is Rachel Feldman. I will see you guys. Have an awesome one. Bye, guys.